www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel.
Hey, Smith, what's up? You finished marking midterm yet?
Hey, man, I'm right here trying to finish up these papers right now.
At least you start. I have not begun. I am waiting, parents giving me answers and giving me reasons why they can't send.
Brown, hold on. Check it. That might be you, Brown.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Girl, listen, as parents right now, send me my work email, WhatsApp, calling me. Just let me know work a minute.
Hold on a minute. Did you say email?
Yes.
Brown, listen to me. No one should be emailing you any work. That is what the LMS is for.
Listen to me. Whatever works for me and makes my life easy for me and my students, that's what I'm going to do. Email is how I'm getting my work.
Listen to me. The Ministry of Education implemented this so that it can make our lives easier, The school can monitor the LMS. We can monitor the LMS. The parents, listen to me. You're able to upload live worksheets. You're able to see when the children log in and log out. You're able to see if they're absent or present. If you use this system, it makes your life so much easier. You need to get with it.
Listen to me. You are the team leader, not me. You are the teacher of the year, not me. So it is my job to do what is best for me and to make it easy for me and my students. And right now, email is the easiest thing.
Listen to me. Once you use the LMS, you will be singing a completely different tune. That is just how easy it is.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. And if you say you're going to help me get it done, then I will try. But other than that, ain't gonna happen. LMS for me is going on, teaching, and getting out.
Brown, listen, don't worry. I got you. I'm going to help you along with this, all right? I got you.
As long as you say you're going to help me, then I'll wait on you and I'll sing that same tune.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training in conjunction with this channel.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, local government election set for tomorrow. Also, hear how a brutal attack has resulted in the power of love and forgiveness. And fishermen in East Grand Bahama getting some assistance. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Rolfe-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic news, local government elections are set to take place tomorrow here on Grand Bahama and throughout the Family Islands. Here on Grand Bahama, there are 4 districts: Freeport, West, East End, and Sweetings Key. A record number of candidates have offered to serve this time around. 9 members are needed for the Freeport City Council, and voters will cast ballots in 4 constituencies. That's Pine Ridge, East Grand Bahama, Marco City, and Central Grand Bahama. The polls will close at 8 a.m. and the polls will open rather at 8 a.m. and they will close at 6 p.m. Well, in the East Grand Bahama district, there will be elections in 2 townships, and elections will also be held in the neighboring Sweetings Key district. Here's the report. 2 townships in the East Grand Bahama district, the High Rock Township and the Freetown Township. The High Rock Township includes the communities of High Rock, McLeanstown, and Pelican Point. For the settlement of High Rock proper, which is polling division 2A, there is no need for an election as the required number of persons have been nominated. As for polling division 6, which is McLeanstown and Pelican Point, 3 persons are needed, but 6 candidates are in the race. They are Daniel Bain, Sophia Higgs, Wilton Thomas, Kendall Lethan, Ricardo Ingram, and Williams Edward Humes. The second township, Freetown, includes polling divisions 5, 2B, and 9B. Polling division 2B includes the Freetown Settlement, Bevanstown, Gambier Point, and Gold Rock. There will be no election in those areas as only the required 2 persons nominated. As for polling division 9B, which includes the areas of Smiths Point, Matertown, and Langtown, 2 persons are needed, but 3 were nominated. The candidates are Valerie Eden, Sean Mater, and Craig Bonnaby. Polling division 5 is the community of Waterkey. 1 person is needed to represent that area, and only 1 person filed nomination papers. In the Sweeting Ski District, which is polling division number 1, 5 persons are needed for the council. 8 persons have been nominated. The candidates are Dion Feaster, Naziba Roberts Adderley, Gladstone Russell, Basil Tate, Livingston Tate, Shervin Tate, Zendel Tate, Fitzroy Thompson. The polls will open at 8 a.m. on Thursday and it will close at 6 p.m. Now to the West Grand Bahama District. That stretches from Mactown to West End. As we hear in this report, elections will be held at several polling divisions in the district. Jamila Mizik reports.
There are several townships in the West Grand Bahama District. The Pinders Point Township includes the communities of Pinders Point, Lewis Yard, Hunters, and Mactown. In the Hunters-Mactown area, polling division 11B and 13B, 9 candidates nominated and only 3 are needed for that town area. Candidates are Anthony G. Bain, Johnny Bevan, Chantel Dorset, Nakia Hunt, Simon Lewis, Fernard Roll, Jacqueline Roll, Joseph Roll, and Opal Russell. Polling Division 1B Pinders Point Community, 2 representatives are needed and there are 4 candidates: Georgina Curtis, Marjorie Darville, Roman Lang, and Grace Poitier. 3 persons are needed from the Lewis Yard community, that's Polling Division 1A, but there will be 4 candidates on the ballot: Candace Adderley, Benedict Russell, Jahantha Russell, and Rashendo Russell. Now to the 8 Mile Rock East Township, that's the Hepburn Town community, polling division 10A. 2 candidates have nominated. Voters will have to select one of 2 candidates, Natasha Ferguson or Larry Wildgoose. Polling Division 13, the Pinedale community in the 8 Mile Rock East Township. Candidates are Felix Delancey, Larice Delancey, Marilyn Gray, Marvette Russell, and Shalon Taylor. The top 2 candidates will represent that town area. The town areas of Jonestown, Martintown, and Russelltown, polling Division 12 in the 8 Mile Rock East Township. Persons nominated, 2 are needed. The candidates are Perry Charlton, Rena Mufford, and Tommy Tucker. Now to the 8 Mile Rock West Township in the West Grand Bahama District, polling Division 7, 4 candidates will be on the ballot: Lorna Davis, Tyrone Kemp, Sandra Rollins, and Millicent Joaquin. 2 persons are needed. Polling Division 6, the Seagrape community in the 8 Mile Rock West Township, 4 candidates have nominated, 2 are required to serve that town area. Candidates are George Jimmy Smith, Thomas Stubbs, John Mizik, and Natasha Carter. Polling Division 5, Martin Hill in the 8 Mile Rock West Township, 3 persons are required. There are 6 candidates: Elva Evans, Park O'Deal, Mary Roll, Denise Russell, Anastasia Saunders, and Tanisha Smith. No elections will be held in West End proper. Polling Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Only the required number of candidates nominated in polling divisions 3 and 4. In polling division 2, only 1 person nominated, 2 are needed, and in polling division 1, 2 persons nominated, but 3 are needed to represent that town area. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, as students across the country are officially back to the classrooms this week, a local school charged with meeting the needs of challenged students is looking to continue with its intervention program. Here again is Jamila Mizik.
Genesis Academy is gearing up for a productive school year, that according to Administrator Ricardo Major.
Genesis Academy is one of the Ministry of Education's special schools who stand poised to assist our mainstream schools with students that are challenged and challenged from behavioral issues to substance use. We try to get them the necessary assistance with the focus of getting them back into school or refocus to move on to another institution like BTVI, etc.
Now, although there are no students on campus at this time, Major says they are open to assist students where necessary.
We may have a number of students that would have gotten involved with a number of activities that weren't healthy. Of course, what we try to do is to identify those students early. If there are students that need extra counseling for any substance use, we try to get that early. So we are standing poised to be able to do that. Additionally, some of those students that may have some challenges because of where they are, they don't have access to internet, so I'm sure that we will be able to assist a lot of those students in getting back to school and being able to use this facility for that.
Major notes that they will do their best to reach students and help them get back on track.
What we want to do is to try to see if we can get right back into school, get into working. So it's so very important that we have these students in, find those ones that have probably even gone to work. I mean, because some of our students have actually gone out there and have started to work. So once they are school age, our job is to try to get them back into a formal educational setting.
And he shares the importance of students being in a classroom setting.
Not being in school, not being in a safe environment where they're being monitored, lends itself to them being involved with just so many idle activities that, of course, leads to other things as we grow into adulthood. So we want to nip some of those things in the bud early, try to see if we can do whatever intervention there is, whatever counseling there is, and education to assist them not to take that path, but to focus on education, and be it technical, whatever it is, we want to be able to do that so that they can assimilate into the broader society.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
It is a powerful story of love and forgiveness. A viral video showing one man attacking the other. And tonight, the victim and accuser have come together to share how this unfortunate incident has propelled them to a greater purpose. It is a video that went viral on social media, and it all started off with the sale of a phone. Jackson Matthews says after showing the phone to prospective buyer Chris Bain and having to travel 2 locations to do so, Bain changed his mind about purchasing the phone. Therefore, he asked for gas compensation for his time and travel.
Like, he probably didn't want to pay the $10, and he must be got frustrated, and he just, he flinged the phone out the window. And pop, I just snapped. I even forgot I put my car in reverse, and I just hop out. And that's how the situation happened.
But Bain says he wanted to buy the phone, but as they waited for change, he started exploring other options, as Jackson did not have the phone that he wanted to purchase. And that's when he was assaulted.
From my perspective, I see a brother, okay, he's being impatient. He don't want to wait. So I say, you know what? All right, brother, I'm not going to get the phone anymore. I can give you your money for coming. And I reach out my hand, firstly, to pass him the phone. And he didn't reach out his hand to pass to get the phone. So our cars was right next to each other. So I attempted to just throw it inside his car. And the phone ended up dropping, And on my end, I realized, looking at from his perspective, I created an offense for him.
On the video, you can clearly see Bain being hit repeatedly by Jackson. In fact, Jackson was so outraged that he left his vehicle in reverse to go on the attack. Bain says it would have been easy for him to fight back, and here's why.
And I refrained myself from responding. I understand he was upset. It wasn't a life-threatening situation for me who box. I train, I box. I have the skill to defend myself. So I refrained myself, because of love. It's easy for someone to respond. It's easy for someone to retaliate, but who's going to be that light, that example to show that we could actually walk away?
Charges were filed by both men, Jackson for the destruction of his phone and Bain for the assault. The two heading to court today, but they made a decision beforehand to settle the dispute through love.
I could have get mad and say, you know what, whatever the situation is, but I reach out to him and I sacrifice my will and my feelings and my emotions and my pride to win a brother. Now me and the brother is friends. We decided we can start studying with one another, and we decided we can show people the act of forgiveness, mercy, not because I couldn't retaliate, not because he could have said, you know what, I don't want to meet with this brother, reconciliate, but we did it all for the sake of love.
That's my brother now, you know what I mean? And like you say, we trying to do something where we could, talk to the youth, stop the violence, you know what I mean, and just do the right thing.
The man also reaching out to Wendy Fox from Foam, Grand Bahama, in hopes of encouraging other young men to find better ways to resolve conflict.
When I got the call, I jumped up and I came out here. I went with them to court. I speak on behalf of both parties involved, and they resolved the matter peacefully. If you could talk about a situation, then talk about it instead of picking up a knife or picking up a gun and retaliating.
In other news, Operation Night Watch netting 1 male for possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply and 5 illegal immigrants. Police say on Tuesday, shortly after 7 p.m., a team of officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit and Marine Support Unit, acting on information, conducted surveillance on a resort situated on Rumkey Drive. Officers later proceeded to a room at the resort and found 1 Bahamian male standing on the outside. He was shown the warrant, and a search was conducted, and 1 Indian male, 1 Belgian male, and 3 Dominican nationals were there. A further search was conducted, and a small quantity of suspected marijuana was also found underneath a bed in the northern bedroom. Additionally, while searching the Bahamian male front pants pocket, a vehicle key was found for a white Chrysler Town and Country van. As a result, a search was conducted of the vehicle, where officers found a large quantity of suspected marijuana and a quantity of oil. The adult male, along with the illegal migrants, were arrested. The illegal migrants were handed over to the Bahamas Department of Immigration for further processing. Now, the suspected marijuana is weighed at 356 pounds with an estimated value of $336,000. And the hashish oil is weighed at 11.5 pounds with an estimated street value of $23,000. Investigations are continuing. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Come on down. Now. Come on down now.
This Thursday, re-elect George Jimmy Smith as your local government representative in Seagrave. For ongoing initiatives for students, training, and in the community, let's finish what we started.
Marco City, I am passionate, determined, focused, and ready for community service. On January 27th, vote Basden. I am Suzette Basden, and I approve this message.
Let's move forward for community development. Let's move forward for progress. Let's move forward together.
Re-elect Frazette Gibson for Central Grand Bahama on Thursday, January 27th, 2022.
Elect Natasha Carter as your local government representative for Seagrave. For leadership that is caring, honest, reliable, and responsible, remember this Thursday, elect Natasha Carter.
Hello, I am Constable 3399 Alexander Williams of the Royal Palm Police Force Traffic Division, Grand Bahama. Did you know that in October 2019, amendments were made to the Road Traffic Act? These amendments included such offenses as driving without having in your possession your insurance certificate, which carries a fine of $200, driving while not having in your possession your driver's license, which carries a fine of $40, driving while using an electronic communication device, which carries a fine of $500, driving while having an open alcoholic beverage, which also carries a fine of $500. Road safety is all of our responsibility. Join us as we work together to create safer communities.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Nature Conservancy, a global environmental organization, is coming to the aid of fishermen in East Grand Bahama. The nonprofit organization purchasing building supplies and helping to build 720 fishing condos for fishermen who lost their traps during Hurricane Dorian. Conservation practitioner at the Nature Conservancy, Natalie says that the organization decided to help the recovery process by providing a sustainable gear swamp to help fishermen in the East End community.
We want to make sure that fishers can get back to their business in a sustainable way, and condos have shown to be sustainable through the Marine Stewardship Council certification of sustainability. So we want to ensure that fishers get back on their feet after Dorian and in a sustainable way. So we're here implementing and executing grants with 12 fishers in East End Grand Bahama to help them receive materials to rebuild their condos. We have been working in Grand Bahama for many years, multiple projects, but we conducted a baseline socioeconomic assessment post-Dorian to assess what were the true needs of the community. And one of the major needs that were noted in that assessment was fishing gear, specifically to help their businesses get back up and running so that they can rebuild after Dorian.
Now, this initiative was funded by the More Bahamas Foundation. Local fisherman Joseph Darble is one of the recipients of the condo supplies provided by Nature Conservancy Bahamas. The Sweeting Ski native, along with one of the volunteers of the Conservancy program, Dion Feaster, is applauding the nonprofit organization for building brand new fishing condos for the fishermen of East Grand Bahama.
I am greatly appreciated for what they did. They came in. This is one of the voice organizations that came in and really helped me, because like right now, they helped me right now to get back on my foot where I was with condos and so forth. It's been a hard road.
It just was a pleasure to work along with the program, because I knew the situation that the East Grand Bahama fishermen were facing at the time post Hurricane Dorian. Needed assistance and help and so forth, and so it was a pleasure to get involved in that regard.
Meantime, a local cultural advocate providing a platform for artists on the island. On February 10th, the spoken word open mic poetry will be launched. Organizer Nat Cambridge.
Spoken word is an opportunity for Grand Bahamians artists and poets, for Grand Bahamian poets and artists to get out and get their poetry heard and kind of relieve that valve that's been stuck from 2019 of having our artistry heard and seen. And so we're going to be at the Cocktails on the Dreams, which is in Port Lucayo.
He says local artists are excited about the opportunity.
The poets have been calling me and saying, when are we going to start? Why we can't start next week? But you want to do it, you want to do it right. As well as the musicians, the singers. Also on our third night, we'll be having the great Tony Lowe doing his original music as well. So Tony's going to be there performing, and then I'll perform one night and do some of my original stuff.
A check on sports up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. Professional baseball player Shabazz Young and his team wrapped up the championship series in Puerto Rico. Also, Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings gearing up before the All-Star break. But let's start this one off with flag football here on Grand Bahama. The Grand Bahama Flag Football League is looking to make a comeback for the season. President of the league, Vincent Marshall, says teams have been practicing with limited numbers, hoping to return to the field for safe competition.
Believe it or not, Grand Bahama is probably the only place that flag football in some capacity has not been played. I am aware of other instances where games have been held. But once again this year, we are looking forward to presenting our proposal for us to restart. And that's going to be following all of the protocols that have been outlined. Some additional measures as well, because we want to over-satisfy any request that may be asked of us. But at this point, we have to do something. 2 seasons without playing is a long time. The interest is still there. However, I do feel that if we don't restart this season, then we would have lost what we took about some 10, 11 years to build up.
In the NBA, Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings suffered a devastating loss last night to the hands of the Boston Celtics, 128-75 to drop to 18-31 on the year. As a team, the Kings shot just 31% from the field. In the blowout loss, Buddy Hield scored a team-high 11 points off the bench on 4-14 shooting from the field. He also grabbed 5 rebounds for the Kings. Up next, the Kings will travel to Atlanta to take on the Hawks. And finally, in sports, Chavez Young concluded his offseason in the final series of the Puerto Rican Winter League. Young and his Mayagüez Indians lost in 5 games in the championship series. The Toronto Blue Jays prospect finished the season hitting .296 with a .457 on-base percentage. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Dollar Deals is ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Let us help you create that special love gift with chocolates, teddy bears, gift items, and balloons. Call or visit us today.
Vote Elva Peaches Evans as your Pine Forest local government representative. She's ready to bring love, commitment, hard work, and dedication to the job. So this January 27th, vote Elva Peaches Evans, and together we'll get the job done.
BAF General and Health Insurance has you covered for everything that life throws at you. We are here to protect you and your family and everything you work so hard to achieve. We cover you with liability, auto, home, marine, and commercial insurance. See a BAF General and Health Insurance agent today so we can have you covered. BAF for life.
This Thursday, re-elect George Jimmy Smith as your local government representative in Seagrave. For ongoing initiatives for students, training, and in the community, let's finish what we started.
Fabulous Living Bahamian Style is proudly brought to you by Leno Corporate Services, bridging possibilities.
Overweight. Having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Bad little lady, you should be driving me crazy. When she licking her lips and moving them hips like, come here, baby. I wanna take her down now.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Almina Bethel, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you for your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire Z&S News team, I'm Shashina Wolf-Marcus, and the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the national report, local government elections down to the wire. Legislators seeking divine intervention ahead of a new sitting. An amendment to the Mental Health Act in the works. And local federation heads talk COVID protocols. The Bahamas tonight, the national report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us. The government today signed an agreement to access funding to aid in post-Hurricane Dorian restoration and COVID-19 stabilization. Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, signed the agreement, which is earmarked for the construction of hospitals and schools left damaged by the 2019 monster storm. Kishla Adderley reports.
The government signing an agreement with Holland and Knight, which will mean additional bilateral, multilateral, and NGO funding sources for key government initiatives, Hurricane Dorian restoration, and COVID-19 stabilization. Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Alfred Sears.
We have today signed an engagement of Holland and Knight to lead this process with respect to the United States government.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, in signing the agreement, referenced a fruitful, long-standing relationship with the Salenson Bridge Foundation.
It is a relationship that has been developed in the Bahamas for many years. This foundation has been a magnificent contributor to social initiatives in the Bahamas, aiding the most vulnerable amongst us, and was very instrumental in providing tremendous help for the recovery efforts of the Dorian disaster, for which we are grateful. And this effort by them to recognize our needs to access grant funding and concessionary loans, and this initiative to assist us in being able to access and be successful in accessing these initiatives, we say thank you.
The agreement will facilitate grant funding and borrowing, as Minister Sears explains, replacing and restoring key government assets damaged or destroyed by the monster storm of 2019.
But certainly we look at funding for the construction of some of our hospitals. We have needs of schools which were destroyed. as well as other infrastructural needs, in particular or especially in Abaco and in Grand Bahama. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Sullingsund Bridge Foundation that will be funding up to $300,000 in addition to borrowing development funds, whether it's from a multilateral source or from the capital markets. We are now pursuing another possible stream of revenue, and that is grant funding that the Bahamas will not have to pay for. It will not increase the national debt of the country. And there is a lot of goodwill in the U.S. Congress and also the White House, as Mr. Davis has advised us.
Jim Davis, a former Democratic congressman and Holland Knight partner who specializes in government relations, signed on behalf of the company, noting the close bonds between the Bahamas and the U.S.
The United States has an especially close relationship with the Bahamas. We're neighbors, we are friends, and in many cases we are family, especially in my home state of Florida. We think there are significant opportunities to maximize the relationship to the benefit of the citizens of the Bahamas, and we look forward to getting to work.
Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, some 60,000 Family Islanders will head to the polls tomorrow to cast their ballots in 92 districts with more than 600 candidates in local government elections. The process is mandated to be held every 3 years. However, the 2020 local government elections were postponed due to COVID-19. Minister responsible for local government elections, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, the first cabinet minister responsible for local government who would be able to vote in these elections in his hometown of Spanish Wells, Eleuthera, is leading a delegation to a number of islands, namely Eleuthera, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. Citing the high interest from Family Islanders, Minister Sweeting says people are interested in community development and the diverse number of candidates who he hopes can make Family Island life easier. Minister Sweeting also desires to strengthen local councils in order for them to have a real vested interest in their communities and provide them with regulated revenue powers. Meantime, Acting Local Government Director and Exuma Returning Officer Neil Campbell gave us this update about final preparations.
Training, and more training. We are aware there are 622 candidates who would have nominated for 403 seats as of December 2021. And then we have 149 locations for those elections, with 89 being contested and 60 being uncontested. There were a number of withdrawals and rejections. And hence we would have really put ourselves together as returning officers into chat groups. That's for the entire Bahamas, where we have had, like I said, a lot of training exercises that were done by the Parliamentary Commissioner's Office.
Polls open at 8 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. Once the elections are done, a recount will take place on January 28th. The writs will be returned and the results publicized on January 31st. Local government officials assure that measures are in place for an efficient, transparent, and safe process.
Once you are on the line before 6 p.m., you will be given that opportunity to vote. Presiding officers are told to make sure, check the line along with the police officer and the floor clerk to see who is on that line prior to 6 p.m. So once that person, that individual, that voter comes to the poll, will be given that opportunity. When you say safe, the police would always be there. And then we also have the COVID protocols where we have the poll workers themselves who be outfitted with the mask, shields. In time past, you had where persons would use one particular pencil. Now we're giving an individual pencil to each voter.
Well, two Marsh Harbor residents who will vote in tomorrow's local government elections hope leaders serve residents in all aspects of national development.
As we attempt to bounce back from Dorian and to coexist with COVID, I would pray and hope that the local government practitioners would help to create opportunities for the young people and the not so young.
I pray that the candidates will be able to serve the community, not only a few, but the masses, help the elderly, help the widows, help the single parents, and be able to foster a community environment where they do more to bring the community together.
Well, back here in the Capitol, a brief sitting of the House of Assembly this morning with Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis and Leader of Government Business in the House, Obi Bolshcom, tabling several documents, among them the Price Control General Amendment 2022 and the Public Hospitals New Year's Day Opening of Shops Notice 2021, as well as the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities Annual Report. Well, immediately following their abbreviated meeting, legislators filed into Zion Baptist Church, Eastern Shirley Streets, for the annual Parliamentary Church service, an opportunity to give thanks and praise for the year that was and to ask God's guidance for what lies ahead. Carla Palmer reports.
In the House of Assembly, they are separated by party philosophy, party colors, and agenda, but not in the church during the annual Parliamentary Church service. Their political divide coming to a halt, however temporary, although the physical distancing made mandatory due to the COVID-19 social protocols. And so together, with one voice for an hour or more, they prayed and sang. They prayed for God's grace and guidance in their respective roles as leaders of governance in the Bahamas.
Strengthen them as they take on a task that is bigger than any human being, bigger than any political party. Move them out of self and into your presence. Lord, we ask that you grant them an abundance of wisdom, courage, compassion, and discernment in the administration of our nation's business.
We pray that every decision that they make and every judgment passed down would most of all be pleasing to you and would help to reduce the level of corruption and the number of other crimes in every category.
Staying focused was the message of the sermon by President Prelate of Global United Fellowship, Bishop Neil Ellis.
This year, in your life and around our country, God does not want to do the ordinary. He wants to do the unusual. That means, honorable ladies and gentlemen, that the season of life you are in is too significant for you to be distracted by the irrelevant.
Highlighting the country's national motto of forward, upward, onward, together, he implored government leaders to work together as a united force for the betterment of the country.
And so your being here today is evident that God has raised you up for such a time as this. Whatever you do, my beloved brothers and sisters, do not let God down.
The annual Parliamentary Church service marked the first for Prime Minister Davis as leader of our nation and the 293rd in the history of our parliamentary democracy, which began in 1729. At Zion Baptist Church, I'm Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
All still to come, changes on tap for the Mental Health Act and traffic police probe a fatality here in the Capitol. We'll be back right after this.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years.
But at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family, and together we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Shanika became the new savings meme. Get a KFC Mega Mash Bucket Meal with 8 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, a Mega Mashed Potato with gravy, and 4 buttery biscuits, starting at only $20, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. Order on WhatsApp at 557-3663. KFC Nassau.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Amendments in the works for the Mental Health Act, according to Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville, who acknowledges the issues facing the country. In fact, he contends it's a societal problem that's becoming more visible daily, as the case this past weekend when 21-year-old mother Heavenly Trevias was killed allegedly at the hands of her ex-fiancé. Here's Darville on how his ministry will prioritize this issue.
Mental health is a serious situation in our country, and we are about to bring to Parliament the new Mental Health Act. It gives us more teeth and more tools to be able to address a lot of the mental issues that exist. We all live in the community, and we drive from place to place. As you drive from place to place, you're beginning to see it visibly. You see individuals that clearly have mental disturbances on our streets. And I believe for us at the Ministry of Health, we must be able to address the issue of mental health in the country more effectively. And the first avenue to do that is the amendment to the new Mental Health Act.
Health officials are also working on completing the legislation in hopes of tabling it as quickly as possible.
We are now looking at the final draft. I definitely have to get more consultation on it, but I would like to do it sooner than later because I believe the issue of mental health is a serious issue in our country, and I'm not pleased of what I'm seeing in our communities as I move from place to place. And some of these instances with violent crimes, there's always a possible undertone of some mental disturbance.
Well, the recent tragedy where, again, young mother Heavenly Travias was shot and killed and her boyfriend allegedly pulling the gun on himself, later dying in hospital, prompting calls for more to be done to end domestic violence. Minister of State in the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Lisa Ramming, describes the incident and those similar as tragic, adamant that the government continues its work in addressing the pressing issue. She says a gender-based violence bill, which needs to be tweaked, is expected to head to Parliament soon, and organizations are teaming up with the government to pool resources for halfway houses for those battered women. But Ramming says that's not all.
Urban Renewal has put together a task force. That task force will be doing an intense training on Friday on domestic violence. We have persons from the Crisis Center. We have Elaine Sands from Gender and Family. We have Eric Fox. And we're also inviting the police, who are a part of Urban Renewal, to be a part of this domestic training. Most of the persons who make up this task force are considered community relations rep. These individuals will be responsible on a regular basis, daily basis, to walk into the community, going door to door. With a survey form that we have, we are now trying to find out who is being abused in whichever way, whether it's mental, sexual, physical, whatever type of abuse. We realize that persons are afraid, they're embarrassed, so they're not coming forward. So we're now taking a proactive approach and we're going to them before the tragic thing happen again.
Ramming also says there's no need for a blame game when tragedy strikes, as she believes we all need to do our part to help.
What we're going to do, we're going to point at ourselves and say, what can I do more? What am I not doing? Or what should I do to stop these incidents from happening? And so the only thing I can say, let's not point fingers, not even at the police, because, you know, I was a police myself, so I know the challenges that the police face. But what we need to do is, if we know as individuals in this society, we know of somebody being hurt, we know of somebody being threatened, we know, but we remain silent. You are just as much as the blame of the police, who you, in your mind, is not taking that proactive approach.
Well, Saturday's tragedy sparking a much wider conversation on gender-based violence here in the Bahamas. Today, our Antoine Smith spoke with both experts and advocates on the multi-layered issue seemingly plaguing the nation.
A public outcry for policy change amid an increasing wave of gender-based violence.
So we are very concerned about the level of crime in our country and the way it's being perpetrated against our women.
Of those women, Heavenly Travias, who was fatally shot this past Saturday. Her fiancé, the alleged gunman in the incident, then turned the gun on himself. And according to the experts, domestic incidents of this nature are more often than not.
And from talking with other colleagues and anecdotal evidence, that it's more often than we would like to think. When we hear of these instances, you know, that to know that our fellow people, humans, that we can behave in this way, that we can be cruel, or so cruel to each other. And so it's always shocking.
Mere months before Heavenly's shooting death, a woman was the victim of a brutal battery in broad daylight, her perpetrator striking several blows before turning his vehicle into a weapon, mowing the woman down at a high speed, leaving her seriously injured. A 2020 Interdevelopment Bank study revealing instances of domestic abuse increased by more than 11% during the early months of the pandemic. Many believe this number to be underreported.
So just having people who are stressed already at home, stuck at home together, and not having an outlet or not having the usual outlets, produce another level of stress and heighten the risk for people who may have already been prone to behave in that way. And place the vulnerable people in their reach.
But the public's eyes turn now to policymakers. While a 2015 National Task Force review provided several recommendations on addressing gender-based violence in the Bahamas, the advocates still await their implementation.
We need this gender-based legislation to become effective immediately and to be given a priority, in addition to the training, development of programs and initiatives that will help us become more sensitive, supportive, caring, and loving for each other.
Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
Time now to take a look at where the country stands with the pandemic. A notable decrease in local COVID cases, which based on Tuesday's dashboard is back down to the double digits, 44 to be exact. 22 of those cases are on New Providence, 8 on Exuma, 7 on Grand Bahama, 5 on the Berry Islands, and 2 on Cat Island. Now, while hospitalizations are back up to 145, the good news is that the number of people on the intensive care unit did not increase overnight. It remains at 9. Based on the dashboard, 167 people recovered from COVID on Tuesday. 882 RT-PCR tests were completed, 13 of them repeats. The Pan American Health Organization has meantime warned that incomplete vaccination schedules among children are prompting the re-emergence of illnesses that have been dormant for years. PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Edian revealing at the weekly press briefing this morning that the possibility foreshadowed months ago is now showing up.
Millions of kids across the Americas have missed out on their routine medical visits, leaving them behind on their routine vaccinations. In fact, vaccination coverage has dipped so low that countries are at risk of losing 2 decades of immunization progress. As a result, countries are beginning to see outbreaks of diseases that for years had been under control. Brazil, for instance, is fighting an ongoing measles outbreak, while Haiti and the Dominican Republic are combating ongoing diphtheria transmission that is threatening children's growth and development.
Now, while Dr. Edian is encouraging COVID-19 vaccination among children, she says it shouldn't exclude the most vulnerable.
Before considering vaccinating healthy children, countries should ensure that coverage among groups at highest risk of COVID-19 disease and death is high. In many countries, particularly our Caribbean islands and territories, vaccine coverage among the elderly and at-risk groups, like health workers, remains low. But 12 countries and territories in the Americas have already reached WHO's 70% vaccination coverage target. In these countries, where vulnerable groups have already been protected and where additional vaccine supplies may be available, countries should consider the benefits of vaccinating children to further reduce the transmission of SARS-CoV-2.
One body recovered as the search continues for 38 others reported missing for several days after a boat believed to be used for human smuggling capsized off Florida's coast on its way from the Bahamas. According to international reports, a Good Samaritan called the U.S. Coast Guard after rescuing a man found clinging to a boat some 45 miles off Fort Pierce. The man told authorities he was with a group of 39 people who left Bimini Saturday night when the boat capsized in severe weather. The survivor said no one was wearing life jacket. He was taken to hospital for treatment. As indicated, the U.S. Coast Guard recovered a body brought to shore this morning. A tragic end to a motorcycle rider's decision to overtake a car last evening. The incident now on the books as a traffic fatality here in the capital. Investigation still in the preliminary stage, but what we can tell you is that the incident happened after 9 p.m. on Prince Charles Drive and Beatrice Avenue. Once on the scene, the serious accident response team discovered that a gray Honda Fit was traveling west on Prince Charles Drive in the right lane when the rider of a blue and white motorcycle overtook the Honda. This led to the Honda colliding into the rear of the bike. The rider, seriously injured, died on the scene. The victim's identity had not been released up to airtime. Investigations are ongoing. A 33-year-old man appeared in the magistrate's court early Wednesday, charged with the October 21 killing of Bahamas Department of Corrections inmate Mikhail Miller. Diallo Williamson, whose address is listed as B-Dogs, was arraigned before Magistrate Samuel McKinney on one count of murder. Court dockets allege that sometime between the hours of October 31st and November 1st, Williamson, by means of unlawful harm, intentionally and unlawfully caused Miller's death. Miller was found dead in his southern block cell during the early hours of November 1st. His official cause of death, according to autopsy reports, is blunt force trauma. At the time of his death, Miller had served less than a month of his 3-month prison term. The mentally ill man was sent to Fox Hill facility due in part to a Sandilands moratorium. As for his alleged killer, Williamson was not required to enter a plea. He returns to court on March 25th for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. Well, also facing a magistrate, 37-year-old businessman Duke Givardo Moss. He's allegedly behind multiple charges of money laundering and fraud relating to a fraudulent check scheme targeting Sun Oil Limited. Court papers show that back on December 13, 2021, the Yamacraw Road resident deposited a fraudulent Sun Oil check of over $195,000 and withdrew the money between December 13th and 16th. He's also accused of withdrawing some $187,000, representing the proceeds of a fraudulent Sun Oil check between December 21st and 24th of last year. Moss pleaded not guilty to all charges and was granted bail. The case has been adjourned.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Golf season is back in full swing again. The Bahamas Great Abaco Classic is happening this week at the Abaco Club on Winding Bay. Parliamentary Secretary John Pinder II shared his excitement about the tournament returning to the Abacos.
It has been a long time. Originally started in 2017, and this has been an amazing tournament. We've had some amazing players down here. It's become one of those hidden secret tournaments that everyone wants to go to. We'd like to expand upon that. It brings the PGA channel down here and really make it a highlight of Abaco. I really find that the Bahamas in general has some really great golf courses, and Abaco Club Winding Bay has one of the best.
He also shared all about the amazing activities local and tourists alike can enjoy.
Abaco has tremendous opportunities to relax on the beach, the sun, the ocean's right there. We have some of the most pristine waters, from the blue holes to the good restaurants and everything in between. We have a lot to offer here in Abaco. And it's not just one spot, but it's a diverse offerings, so you won't get bored. Come down to Abaco.
For more information on the Abacos and the Great Abaco Classic, visit Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Throughout all of our family islands, a Family Guardian home service agent can meet all your insurance needs. We offer life, health, and property and casualty insurance policies to help protect you, your loved ones, and your assets. With offices in Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Grand Bahama, and agents throughout the islands of the Bahamas, a Family Island agent is always nearby. Family Guardian, at your service, at your door. For any inquiries, WhatsApp us at 357-9632.
Resolve to save money this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Kellogg's family size assorted cereals, 19 to 24 ounce, $4.99. Campbell's SpaghettiOs and meatballs, 8 ounce, 2 for $1.29. Wild Caught salmon, $7.99 per pound. Fresh tomatoes, $1.59 per pound. Heavenly Soft paper towels, $4 for $5. Save each week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Domestic airlines paying close attention to how 5G technology will impact their operations. Senior Bahamas Air officials shared their views with our Crystal Darling.
Last week, news of flight delays caused by 5G technology for some U.S. airlines prompted questions about the impact of this technology on aircraft here in the Bahamas. Managing Director of Bahamas Air, Tracy Cooper, shares the airline's view.
We don't anticipate, once again, re-emphasizing the Bahamas, they will be affected by this. We have authorities, and as with the telecommunications section, they have regulators and persons who govern them as well. And so these matters are typically vetted out at the levels of the authorities.
Then why are U.S. airlines so concerned about 5G? Bahamas Air's Director of Flight Operations and seasoned pilot, Captain Paulo Cartwright, explains that the main concern for the industry is possible radio frequency interference with a crucial height measuring tool built into large aircraft called the radio altimeter.
It feeds information to a lot of systems. Many of them are safety related and obviously to do with operation of the aircraft. So the regulator, in this case the Americans, they weren't satisfied that they could say unequivocally there'd be no impact to aircraft operations, so they took the most conservative approach, which was to issue this airworthiness directive.
Cartwright pointed out that the altimeter is often used in large aircraft during takeoff and landing in extreme weather conditions like fog or snow, and can also be used for aircraft operation. He detailed what impacted the delay last week with Bahamian travelers coming from Dubai.
Boeing had put out a notice to the operators recommending not to operate to an airport that was affected by 5G unless they had an alternative approved means to operate safely. Airlines aren't going to take the risk to operate like that, so therefore this aircraft is going to be a 777, and so Emirates decided we're not going to operate that airplane to that place that day. And the reason it's of interest to the 777 is because it's a highly automated aircraft. It uses what they call fly-by-wire. So signals are sent electronically, not by some cable. And they just can't take the risk that some bogus thing might occur at the wrong time and lead to serious consequences.
According to Cooper, 5G's local impact to aircraft doesn't pose a concern. Even internationally, some flights have started up again with clearance given to resume operations.
These things are always tested immensely, really, before it is allowed to be a concern to the traveling public.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
More research on climate change expected to come out of the University of the Bahamas in the coming years. This as FTX Digital Markets donates $240,000 to the University of the Bahamas' Climate Change Adaptation and Resilience Research Center to fund studies at UB's two-year-old organization. The grant comes as FTX makes a series of donations to education institutions and community NGOs. Here's Vice President of Communications, Valdez Russell.
Today's contribution to climate change speaks to the importance of leadership. The Bahamas must be a leader in addressing the vexing challenges of climate change along with other global issues. This is no longer negotiable. Our gift reflects an initial commitment to impact change through research and programming that must absolutely deliver results.
Now, according to Director Dr. Adele Tomé, the grant will be dispersed over a period of 2 years and used to create the FTX Digital Markets Climate Change Commitment Fund.
This fund will support research capacity building and programmatic outreach. The grant will fund a full-time hire within the Carr Center to expand its work in achieving our vision and mission. A smaller component of the grant will support programmatic outreach, such as public forums aimed at educating the university community and the Bahamian public at large about climate change and climate action.
June 12th, the locked-in date for the second annual Bahamas Gospel Music Awards. Submissions have already started and are set to conclude March 25th. According to CEO and executive producer Travis Edgecombe, this year's production will include several renamed and new categories, all intended to pay homage to artists making waves in the industry.
So this year's theme is called Legends. There are a few awards that we would have added. One is the Inspiration Song of the Year, and we changed the Reggae Song of the Year to Reggae/Dancehall Song of the Year. The Female Artist of the Year award, we changed it to the Rachel Mackey Female Artist of the Year award. Junkanoo Rake and Scrape Song of the Year, we changed it to Kevin McKinsey Junkanoo Rake and Scrape Song of the Year. Radio Personality of the Year is now changed to the Vaughn Miller Radio Personality of the Year.
Engaging viewers virtually this year, the award shows also teaming up with Cargo's TV to showcase local artists and to serve as a platform to learn more about gospel music in the Bahamas and throughout the Caribbean. Cargo TV CEO Sherwin Gardner explains.
Cargo's TV is basically Caribbean Gospel TV. The app is on iPhone, Android, Apple TV, Roku. So what it does is give us the opportunity to allow people to know more about the Caribbean and Caribbean gospel. Since I've been here, I realized that the Bahamas have exceptional ministers, exceptional quality, exceptional singers, but one of the things that is not happening is that people outside of the Bahamas is not getting the music. So Cargos is a bridge where basically when people go on Cargos, they go to see people like DJ Nicholas, Positive from Trinidad, Samuel Midas from Guyana. Now they have the opportunity to get to know the artists from the Bahamas.
Diabetes Awareness Month pegged for later this year, but one sufferer is determined to stay healthy after a grim prognosis prompted her to start an education campaign about the chronic condition. Lloyd Allen has a story.
Educator and philanthropist Dr. Jacinta Higgs has lived a full life, but following years of poor eating habits, she has been diagnosed with diabetes.
At age 10, I remember I was weighing about 155 pounds.
Over the years, Dr. Higgs says her weight gain continued, reaching a staggering 350 plus pounds, with genetics too playing a part. She says there were many signs which indicated that there was an internal issue.
I associated some of these things with just getting older, increased hunger, and in some cases too, lack of hunger and unexplained weight loss. But what I was really plagued with was tingling or numbness in my hands, my feet, and then they call it neuropathy.
Now, Dr. Daniel Johnson says he's seen several patients in this condition and advises the following to keep yourself healthy and diabetes-free.
Tingling in feet can be caused by several different things, the most common of which is elevated blood sugars. Elevated blood sugars causes the nerves to fire abnormally.
She says the death of both parents as a result of diabetic complications was when she realized that something had to be done to finally begin the journey of self-care.
My mother actually had to go to dialysis, I think it was 3 days a week. And I didn't even deal with that. I thank God for my sister who cared for her, who lived with her, and ensured that she got that treatment.
Working with a team of specialists at the Diabetes Centers of the Americas over the years, Dr. Johnson says beyond the diagnosis, he refers many of his patients to Dr. Derek Pinder, a specialist who recommends elimination of diabetes through food.
Well, one of the main things that we can use that comes all the way from Africa is okra. The other one is cinnamon.
Ginger can be used, bay leaf can be used, turmeric can be used, cayenne can be used. We use the cayenne and the turmeric because it creates the circulation. And with Dr. Johnson saying that with the diabetic foot problems, we have no circulation. Most people, before he came on the scene, would have to have the feet or the toes amputated.
Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
General and Health Insurance has you covered for everything that life throws at you. We are here to protect you and your family and everything you work so hard to achieve. We cover you with liability, auto, home, marine, and commercial insurance. See a BAF General and Health Insurance agent today so we can have you covered. BAF for life.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Resolve to save money this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Kellogg's family size assorted cereals, 19 to 24 ounce, $4.99. Campbell's SpaghettiOs and meatballs, 8 ounce, 2 for $1.29. Wild Caught salmon, $7.99 per pound. Fresh tomatoes, $1.59 per pound. Heavenly Soft paper towels, $4 to $5. Save each week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honourable Michael Darwell, maintains there's a need for major improvements to ground transportation for medical emergencies when it comes to Family Island communities. His comments follow a crash on Long Island Friday night that ended the lives of 3 young men. Family members have criticised the time it took to get police and health teams to the scene, arguing that the last victim to die could still be alive had they been able to get him off the island sooner.
I can say unequivocally that something must be done. I believe the days are gone when individuals who are in any sort of traumatic event is placed on the back of a truck and try to get to the facility or get to the airport. I believe we must do better. I think we must find a better way for emergency medical services on our Family Islands. And as a matter of fact, we intend to bring a paper to address that, address the manpower shortages at our clinics. I visit the clinics. There's no handyman and a lot of things that need to be done around the clinic, preventative maintenance. All of these things are necessary, and we're moving in that direction.
The health minister acknowledges that infrastructural upgrades for Family Island clinics are tied into Inter-American Development Bank loans, which the government is in the process of accessing.
We're looking at the air ambulance situation. We believe sometimes there is a lag time coming from New Providence, and we must look at level 1 and level 2 degrees of trauma, and we must do better. That's all I can say, but I can tell you that this administration, we're looking at it, and we intend to put some resources to try to correct it.
Meantime, family islanders will not be left out of the government's affordable housing plan. Bahamas Mortgage Corporation Chairman Barbara Cartwright says while approvals have been made since the start of a housing fair, several islands can expect those homes being made available.
We have 90 approved applications already prior to the show, and so we are excited about what we're about to do. We intend to build about 500 to 600 houses in New Providence alone, and then we're going to branch out to the family islands. Well, definitely Abaco, Freeport, Eleuthera, and Exuma, and Andros.
Police questioning 2 men after they were allegedly caught with a large quantity of suspected cocaine on Abaco overnight. The suspects and drugs arrived here in the capital around 9:40 Tuesday night at Odyssey Aviation. The men were arrested in a joint operation involving Drug Enforcement Unit, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Border Protection, Air Marine Support, and Abaco Police. According to Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Audley Peters, officers received reports of an aircraft traveling from the southern Bahamas.
The air surveillance unit was able to surveil the aircraft, which later landed on Moores Island. As the aircraft taxied on the runway, a passenger aboard dislodged 3 duffel bags off of the aircraft and a suitcase. The aircraft took off and later landed at Treasure Key, Abaco. While at Treasure Key, the officers from on that island arrested 2 males from that aircraft, and we hence have those bags here in New Providence. After checking those bags, though, they contained a substance which is believed to be cocaine.
Here's what else authorities disclosed about the suspects.
Those males who are in custody are 2 Bahamian nationals who are ages 31 and 41. In due course, they'll be transported, and as the investigation continues, we expect that they'll be formally charged before the court by the end of the week or the beginning of next week.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makushla. Outside of our studios this evening, we have mostly clear skies, temperature at 75 degrees, your relative humidity 83%, south-southwest winds at 7 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,016.3 millibars at 30.03 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 70 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Torquay, Marsh, Abaco at 68 degrees. 76 in the Berry Islands, Alistown, Bimini, 75. Harbor Island, 76. Also Rock Sound, Eleuthera reporting 76 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemps Bay, South Andros at 77. 76 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 76. Also in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma. 77s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthewtown, Inago, 79, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, 80 degrees. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands, the winds are going to be southwest at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide, that will take place at 8:15 tonight in the central and southeastern islands. Southeast winds at 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow in the northwestern parts of our country, the winds will back out of the northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights around 2 to 4 feet. Low tide 9:20 in the morning with high tide at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands, that east to southeast component will continue at 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And as we take you into Friday in the northwestern islands, the winds become southerly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights unchanged at 2 to 4 feet. Low tide 10:27 in the morning, high tide at 4:11 in the afternoon for the central and southeastern islands. Once again, no change. Southeast at 10 to 15, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
How the smartest shoppers are shopping in Nassau. Variety disposable products versus the other guys. $120.40 versus $150. Variety disposable products, 25% savings. Bingo, save $3. Padilla, save $2. Bounty hand towel, $1. And that's how the smartest shoppers saved over $30 on this cart at Variety Disposable.
Students and educators transition to e-learning. We know that there are families across the nation feeling left behind. High-speed internet is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity for all. A community response is needed to bridge the gap. The Cable Bahamas Group of Companies and the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas are leading the way. Support the Rotary fundraising campaign. Give the gift of connectivity.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
This is ZNS Total Sports. Welcome to sports. Topping sports news, seemingly always the center of some controversy, the new projected National Baseball Stadium will require some additional funding. During his contribution in the House of Assembly this afternoon, Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, revealing due to a lack of oversight on several key stadium components in the initial plan, the stadium will need significant funding in order for the project to be completed in its expected timeline.
Speaker, this list of concerns is by no means comprehensive. However, it gives us a snapshot into what the government is faced with due to the inordinate delay in completing this project. Madam Speaker, we are not here today complaining, but merely reporting in a transparent manner to this honorable House. Additional funding will be required to complete the stadium in the amount of $31,349,566.28, and this is inclusive of that.
The state of local sports still the topic of discussion, with more coming out of the recent meet and greet held with local federations and the country's Minister of Sports, with many of the local bodies being represented. Many of them expressed their frustrations with the COVID-19 pandemic, among them the president of New Providence Softball Association.
And softball will start, 19th that is, I am unsure. The WBSC, they mandated persons that are under them to have protocols established, whereas teams would have to take a COVID test prior to play. Officials would have to take a test prior to play. And I don't see it happening at this point because it's going to be costly to sponsors, costly to the league. So we have to find some way, some middle ground. If the pandemic continues on the course that it is, with this variant, it's going to be impossible because we play 3 nights a week.
For others, including B3A's President Jamiko Archer, the Bahamas could look at steps taken by other countries to help restart local sporting leagues.
The Extraordinary Gazette published a proposal for sports and competitive sports, and it spoke about the requirement, I think in Section 32A, if I'm not mistaken, where it talks about the recreation and competitive sports and what would be those requirements legislatively. And it simply says that everyone either should be fully vaccinated or they should be able to provide a negative COVID test.
Despite the lack of activity, some leagues have managed to find some international success.
We sent a beach team, an international beach team, over to Florida at Fort Lauderdale, and they did very well, winning all their pool stage games and narrowly losing in the semi-finals. Again, COVID struck with 5 of our players who were meant to be traveling, contracting it the week before they were meant to travel, and we had to make some last-minute arrangements to our squad.
And outside the actual competition itself, Flag Football Commissioner Bianca Lee says the overall camaraderie brought about by sports is something that is also greatly missed.
So I think we're getting there. At the same time, there's so many unknowns that we just don't know how to give any answers right now. But with flag football, it's one of those sports where it's a family, and that's what we miss the most, is being able to see our family every Sunday, or see them 3 days a week, and just be able to enjoy ourselves, get away from the regular day-to-day and the 9 to 5, and do something that we truly, truly love.
Well, last week we were in Exuma for the Great Exuma Classic. During that time, we had a chance to catch up with longtime golf pro at the Sandals Resort, Rich Gibson, about his role.
Well, here at this golf course is to run the day-to-day operation, and really getting involved with the guests, telling them about this beautiful golf course and letting them know how beautiful Exuma in the Bahamas is, and encouraging them to take golf lessons and learn the game of golf. So that's my role around this beautiful resort.
Gibson over the years has come across hundreds of pro golfers. He describes some of his interactions.
My interaction with most of those golfers that come to play some of these events here at this golf course is really good. They, encourage me to continue to press my way through in the game of golf and continue, teaching the game of golf that others will get into it and learn this beautiful game. They also, invite me to come and spend some time with them back home in their country. So it's really beautiful being here.
And that's been a look at sports. Check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast, with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Say goodbye to the clunky, old, outdated, tiresome way of buying insurance. Get covered in a click with First Online, a new online insurance portal from Bahamas First. It's the simple way to do insurance. Visit bahamasfirst.com to get an instant quote, pay premiums, and manage your claims anytime and from any device. First for our car and home insurance customers. It's another first from Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, an area of low pressure just to the west of Grand Bahama continues to support showers and thunderstorms over the Grand Bahama and Abaco areas, and that will continue tonight. And that low is expected to push off towards the northeast, and as it does so, it will drag this trailing cold front through the northwest Bahamas during the morning hours. It should reach us sometime around midday, and that is when we expect to get some showers here in the capital. Our forecast tonight calls for considerable cloudiness with a couple of soaking rains along that frontal boundary and in the vicinity of that low, and that will eventually move towards the south and east, getting into our area by midday tomorrow. 68 degrees for your low, and then tomorrow we're looking at variable cloudiness with a few showers just around midday, high temperature getting up to 79 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, after the rain, things will dry out quite nicely on Friday, and we're looking for some nice cool temperatures during the nighttime, dropping into the low 60s. Daytime temperatures in the 70s, getting down to about 71 degrees on Saturday. And here's what's going to happen. Another front comes in on Saturday rather quickly. That will drop temperatures into the 50s, so some very chilly temperatures are on the way. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.